and welcome back. Thursday morning, 9 o'clock, sales video. If you happen to hear a little bit of hissing going on in the background, it's the wind going through I guess you can call it a breezeway when it's actually a hallway, but we'll call it a breezeway for now. It's fairly windy. It's going to be windy for the most part. Might drizzle a little. Don't have much to do. Just had something just fly my eye. The perils of having your face in the wind. Got to get the car e-checked, at least mine. So if you're not familiar with Ohio or the few counties that do e-check, e-check started back in the 90s, emissions check. And at one point you had to pay $20 for it, and after a while it just became free. And I want to say it's still the 10 most populated counties. Maybe it's the 7th most populous counties. You need to get an e-check, which is free. You go in, they run the car, plug an OBD2 in, put a mirror under the car, make sure it's not leaking any fluids. Then you get a printout, and you take that, and you can get your registration. So you only have to do that every 2 years for the e-check. And then for the registration, you can pay for 1 year, 2 years, I believe up to 4. Either way, I'm just going to do 1 year on the truck and 2 years on the Fiesta, because the truck is a even numbered vehicle. So even years, you do even year vehicles. Odd years, you do odd year vehicles. Do that, get the registration. Forget exactly what it is. $60 for a year. So that's going to be $180. Then head to the estate sale down in Madison, which is out in the country cut. So since it is a sales video, it's enough to make a video. Just hit that point, and yesterday in the community post, hit the 25,000 mark for 90 days. And last time I did that, which I didn't bother posting that then, was back in the end of December. I think it was the 30th or 31st. You hit $25,002 or something. And at that point, I probably only had 50 subscribers. So about 10 times as many now. So I figure for those people who do like to listen and like to pay attention and have stayed tuned in to the videos and what I source and what I talk about, you can see that the amount of work, which to me really isn't a whole lot, it's roughly 30 hours, maybe a little more, 33, 34 sometimes. If I start at 9 and most of the days I'm done at 3, that's 6. If I'm doing this kind of work 5 days a week, sometimes it's 4 hours, sometimes it's 3 hours. Sometimes it's all I'll do is just package stuff up. Might do, some sell similars. So if I package up enough and there wasn't enough for a video, and I do 25 sell similars, by the time I take those down and just quickly reprice them and post them up, that's 2 hours of time. Rarely will my entire day be 8 hours. Rarely. If I'm going far, yeah. If I'm leaving later, yeah. But for the most part, it's 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes 6. So 33 hours, let's just say, not even. And for the past 2 weeks, since pretty much the start of the big sale that I did at the end of June, going through July 4th weekend, I've probably posted in those 2 weeks maybe 100 listings, when by average I would be putting up 25 to 40, let's just say 30 a day, at least 150 a week. So I've primarily just been doing relistings and just putting up a small, like 10 items here, something here or something there, just to kind of keep the actual newer listings going, especially when they're like $1,200 sunglasses or books that are $100. And that's going to segue into this. So I did source yesterday, and I was telling myself with the intent to going west to stop and get e-check. But as soon as I got in my car, started driving, I'm like, oh, I'm going out sourcing. Completely forgot about the e-check. So today's plan is do that first and then go the whole other direction. All right, so here's what I sourced at the Savers. So it's going to be kind of a mix of the two. A pair of Warby Parker. I forget the pattern that's on them. I forget what they are, but these exact ones are like $30. It's a couple of CDs. This is an audiobook. It's like closer to $30. And this might be in the 25 range. Beavis and Butthead VHS. It's not really a whole lot. Clean ribbon. Savers are 99 cents. So this is 16 to $20. They do sell. And this book here, Journeying Through a Jungle. So this wasn't even in the religion section. This was down by like the animals and travel, which you kind of figure by the title. So jungle isn't something that's really common word that I see on books, and it does not have a barcode, right? So it's not something you commonly see on books. And I see, well, if it's a journey in a jungle, let's kind of find out what it is. I look at it. Obviously, this is by, I'm going to guess, a Reverend Sandy Ray. So just out of curiosity, I already have it in my hand. Went ahead, Journeying Jungle, because the word journeying is not really a common word. Jungle, type that in. A couple books come up for right around $60. Now this is, you can see the edge, dust jacket, has a little bit of the point wear. And that's it. And you can see the bind right here, if it was well used, this part of the spine would be kind of, you can tell it's used. It would have like more wrinkles and crease than just this little spine part. And same thing with, you can tell it hasn't been used. So I go into Terapeak, Price Heist first. This book, the year 1970 something, 1980, whichever it is, 1979. They vary anywhere from the higher price, like the first 7 or 8 are 80 to over $100. That is what I got at the Savers yesterday, so it really wasn't a whole lot. I hadn't been there since Saturday or Sunday. The point of me showing those as opposing to going out and getting more stuff and mixing a couple days of sourcing into one video, and the point on why I didn't make even just a top-down view of sourcing yesterday, primarily is because of journeying through the jungle. I kind of wanted to bring that up. Those words, those are the kind of words that I'm looking for. Like, I'm at Savers and they probably have a couple thousand books, and I'm just eyeballing through this. Granted, I'm there enough to know which colors are the new ones, so it doesn't take me long to go through them. Even if I stop at a store I haven't been to, I'm probably going to be looking at the 1,000 books, give or take, for less than an hour because I'm looking for those weird words, font, visual texture, um, the age, the age look. Those are the things that I'm looking for. Now, granted, do I buy books that have barcodes? Yeah. Um, but as people have commented in some videos before, that a lot of the other Amazon sellers will go for those and they will pick up the ones with barcodes and they will pick up a lot of lower end books that they're going to make $5 on. I do that. If you're a seller, you probably buy stuff that you're going to make $5 on. That's perfectly fine, and then they will go through those. However, they will pass. Most will pass on stuff that does not have a barcode. My experience, I would say it teeters. That there's a huge majority of books that don't have barcodes that are worth quite a bit more than those that do. But there's so many books out there, I can't come up with a definitive ones without barcodes are more valuable. I can't. There's nothing that I even want to delve myself in to even quantify that ones without barcodes. The only thing that I can say that would help quantify that is that barcodes for books have been around since the early 80s, while books have been around for 500 years. So everything up until the early 1980s didn't have a barcode. So by just proportion, books without barcodes would be worth more. All right. But I want to bring that up that even though may not find a lot at a given store. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items. If you make a route, and even if it's just one day a week, you go to 6, 7, 8 stores. One day a week. And other days you do different things, whichever. And if at each store you're getting 2, 3, 4, 5 things, one of those can be a $70, $80, $100 book. And if every other store you find a $70, $80, $100 item, if you go to 6 stores, now you're at $300 of those items on top of the other things that you're going to get, which are going to be $20, $30, $40 items. Now you're coming home with 1,000 plus listable. So you come home by stopping at 5 or 6 stores with 5 things from each store. That's 25 items. That's usually what I try to go for if I'm hitting multiple stores, to try to come home with at least 25 varying things when it comes down to stuff that I sell. That's kind of the point, that you may not get a ton from one individual store, and then another one you may get 12 or 15, and then the next one you may get 1 or none. By the sheer volume of going and looking at different things, because I'm not going to get into all that. It is a sales video. I think I've rambled for at least 10 minutes, maybe 15. I got to chop it down. There's a few things I got to edit out. Let's find out what's sold. All right. This is supposed to be the Celine Dion CD that I've been referring to the past handful of videos, whichever. But this is the Ultimate. Looks like Ultimate Definitive, is it? Ultimate Essential. $20. Tai Chi for Life by Paul Lamb. DVD I just got listed a couple weeks ago, maybe $23. Pumpkinhead, Lance Henriksen. This Pumpkinhead 4. Remember the first Pumpkinhead. What does he say about one of the biker guys, the dirt biker guys, says it is the boy's glasses are about as thick as soda pop bottles or something. But 22. Speaking of frames, so these ones have been around for a while. There's no date stamp on them, so they are 3+ years old. Well, since I've had them. They just kept getting enough views and enough views over time. They come down, get repriced, come down, get repriced. And yeah, they stuck around. So they're this cool speckled multicolor tortoise design. So if you're listing frames, you could do you can use specific terms in some of the things. So this is a full frame. If it had a wire or if it did not have a bottom, it'd be a half frame or a half rim. Any of this kind of speckling camouflage looking thing is called tortoise. Usually it's going to be brown or kind of, well, I'm colorblind, but kind of a brown or orange color. You can write in there that it has a little jewels if you want. Or then if they're aviators or pilot or wraparound, it does help. It's kind of, because someone may not be looking for a specific model, but they want some tortoise with jewels. These still, after all these years of having them, sold for $33. Little Riders, looks like, yep, DVD, $30. Story of the Hoover Dam, $18. The Steely Dan box set, $38. So this one I got. One of the discs needed resurfaced, so it sat on the resurfaced pile for quite a while. I want to say I got this one, Art Pepper. Was it Ray Dolphin? Maybe another. No, I think it was just these three. Maybe another. At a Goodwill, there's a short sourcing video from probably back in winter, like in December, maybe January, where I picked these up. And the other two have already sold. One is highlighted as like $140 for the box set. So this one of them needed resurfaced, and it just sat there and sat and sat and sat. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to. It just sat and sat. And eventually I did resurface it and listed it maybe like a month ago. And it's gone, $38. Yeah, one of these little rocket catalogs from, I don't know, 1992. So $15 for this, and I got this and maybe 15, maybe a little more, 15 others in a bag or bags, and I probably paid no more than $5 for all of them. And I've already sold a few off. One went for 16, I think another one was like 19. I just got a feedback for one of them. But it's one of those 50 cents or 30 cents, maybe a little more for it. And, eventually sold for 15, and it'll go out first class. And to protect it, I'll use just a little folded cardboard box. That'll help a little from it getting all super bent. This right here will not go in just a standard bubble envelope. That's just not firm enough. So that's $208, and I think it's a little under $200 in product cost received. So that's my story of the day, story of those, story of those, story of the year. Speaking of, I made it all the way around that sun. Again, I made it. Today's not my birthday, but I did make it. So that's going to wrap that one up. Like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. Thumb, comment, sub share, everything helps. Appreciate it. Thank you.